Success isn't handed out to those who wait for the perfect moment or the right feeling. It belongs to those who decide to take control, who choose discipline over comfort every single day. Discipline is the quiet force behind every achievement, the steady commitment that turns dreams into reality. When you master discipline, you gain the power to shape your future, to rise above distractions, and to build a life that others only imagine. This is the moment to own your choices, to push past excuses, and to understand that discipline doesn't just change parts of your life, it changes everything. Number one, discipline builds consistency. Discipline is what builds consistency in life. It's not about doing something once or twice when you're in the mood. It's about showing up again and again. Even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, even when it feels like nothing is changing, that's where real results start to happen. Success doesn't come from motivation. It comes from commitment. It comes from deciding who you want to be and making choices that match that vision every single day. You look around and see people making progress in their lives, whether it's health, wealth, skills, or personal growth. It's never magic. It's never luck. What you're seeing is the fruit of small repeated actions. That's consistency. That's discipline in motion. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. 1 step a day in the right direction beats 10 steps all at once, followed by quitting. People fall into the trap of chasing quick results, trying to sprint towards something they were never prepared to sustain. And that's why they burn out, because they never built the habit. They never train themselves to stick with it. Discipline means you train your body and your mind to listen to your better judgment instead of your temporary feelings. You don't argue with yourself about waking up early. You just do it because it's part of your mission. You don't negotiate with laziness when it's time to exercise, study, work, or stay on your budget. You do the hard thing because the hard thing is the right thing. And when you do it long enough, you stop needing to push yourself so hard every time. It becomes part of who you are. People want change. They want transformation. But what most people don't realize is that transformation isn't something that happens overnight. It happens inch by inch, task by task, habit by habit. And that kind of progress only sticks when you've built it on the foundation of discipline. You can be excited on day 1. That's easy. But where are you on day 40? On day 70. On the days when you're tired, when your emotions are low, when your results haven't caught up with your efforts yet. That's the test. And the ones who keep showing up, those are the people who win. Discipline makes your actions automatic. You don't have to wrestle with yourself all the time. You've already decided. You're already in. You've made it part of your identity. You've turned it into something non-negotiable. Consistency is no longer a goal. It's just what you do. And when you hit that level, things begin to change in a big way. You start noticing the compound effect. Small efforts from months ago begin paying off. You realize you've become more than you were. Stronger, sharper, more focused. That's how you move from hoping to having, from wishing to building, from dreaming to doing. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because discipline gives you the power to create progress in any moment. You could be tired, you could be stressed, and yet because you trained yourself to keep going, you do. That's how you build something that lasts. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push through resistance, you're stacking trust in your own character. You're proving to yourself that you mean what you say, that your words have weight. And that makes a difference not just in results, but in how you see yourself. You begin to walk differently, talk differently. You know deep down you've earned every step forward. Some people live their whole life in cycles. They start, they stop, they begin, they give up, and they repeat. They're not lazy. They just haven't developed the consistency to carry them through the lows. They're relying on emotion instead of structure. And that keeps them stuck. If you want real momentum, you need to break out of that pattern. Discipline is the only way. It's not glamorous. It won't always feel good. But the reward is freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from regret. Freedom from always starting over. When you stay consistent, you get to move forward without hesitation. You begin to build confidence, not from hype, but from experience. Because you know what you've done. You know what you've overcome. And you know what you're capable of. Consistency gives you the edge. It gives you time in the game. It gives you rhythm. And over time, it gives you results. And those results give you belief. Not the kind of belief you fake with affirmations. Real belief. Built from hard days, tough decisions, and staying on course. If you want to see change in your life, lasting change, you need to stop focusing on intensity and start focusing on consistency. You don't have to go all out every day. You just have to go, whether it's a workout, reading a chapter, saving $1, or staying calm when you want to react. Every time you choose discipline, you move one step closer to becoming the person you respect. It's not about talent. It's not about potential. It's not even about knowledge. It's about doing the work, showing up, staying steady. That's how you win over time. You don't need to shout about your goals. Just live them one consistent action at a time. And slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to separate from the crowd. Because while others are waiting to feel ready, you're building. While others are hoping for motivation, you're moving. While others are stuck in distraction, you're locked in. Consistency gives you power. Because now you're not just reacting to life, you're creating it. You know where your time goes. You know what your priorities are. You're not thrown off by every little inconvenience or delay because discipline gave you control. And with that control, you begin to craft a life that matches your values, not your moods. There's nothing more powerful than being able to rely on yourself. To know you'll show up, whether anyone claps for you or not, whether it's easy or not, whether it's convenient or not. That's the quiet power of discipline. That's what makes you consistent. And that consistency, day in, day out, is what builds everything else. Your confidence, your income, your health, your relationships, your peace of mind. People talk about how success leaves clues. And one of the clearest clues is this: success follows those who stay the course, those who keep showing up. Not because it's fun, not because it's flashy, but because they've made a decision. And they keep it. That's what discipline really is, a decision you keep over and over until it becomes second nature. So if you're tired of starting over, tired of watching time pass while nothing changes, tired of feeling stuck, then you know where to begin. Build discipline. Make it your foundation. Do what you said you'd do. Not once, not for a week, but over and over until it sticks, until it becomes your nature, until your life starts to reflect the work you've put in. That's when you'll see just how powerful discipline really is, because it changes everything. Number 2, discipline turns goals into habits. Everyone wants a better life. Everyone wants change. Everyone wants results. But wanting alone doesn't build anything. Wanting is easy. What's hard is doing. What's even harder is doing it again the next day. And the day after that, that's where discipline comes in. Because discipline is what turns your goals into habits. And once it becomes a habit, it becomes part of who you are. See, a goal is just an idea. It lives in your mind. It excites you for a moment. You dream about it. You talk about it. You imagine how your life would change if it came true. But dreams don't change your life. Habits do. Dreams inspire, habits build. The bridge between them is discipline, that quiet force that doesn't make excuses, that doesn't wait for motivation, that shows up on Monday when you're tired, that shows up on Saturday when nobody's watching. That's the difference. Most people don't fail because they didn't have a goal. They fail because they didn't turn the goal into a lifestyle. They didn't bring it down from the clouds and plant it into their daily routine. They waited for the perfect time. They waited until it felt easier. They waited until they felt like it. And that day never came. The only way the day ever comes is when you stop waiting and start doing. You take that goal and you attach it to an action. Then you repeat that action every day, no matter what. That's when the change begins. Discipline is the great translator. It takes your dreams and it translates them into behavior. Small behavior, daily behavior, repetitive behavior. And that's the secret. Repetition. When you repeat something long enough, it no longer takes energy to do it. It becomes automatic. Brushing your teeth is a habit. Locking your door is a habit. Checking your phone is a habit. You don't think about it, you just do it. What if your goal became that natural, that consistent, that automatic? That's what discipline creates. Now, nobody's born with discipline. You build it, just like muscle. And just like muscle, it takes effort. But here's the truth most people ignore. The first few days are the hardest. The beginning is where the friction is. It's new. It's uncomfortable. Your mind fights you. Your old habits scream louder. But if you can just get through that early stage, if you can force yourself to stick with it through the resistance, you'll start to notice something. It gets a little easier. Not easy, but easier. The mind adapts, the body adjusts, the resistance weakens, and before you know it, that action you used to fight is now something you look forward to. That's how powerful discipline is. Every great transformation begins with a decision, but it continues with discipline. You decide to lose weight, but if you don't train your mind to show up every morning, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle. You decide to write a book, but if you don't sit down every day, even when the words don't flow, that book remains a fantasy. You decide to build a business, but if you don't discipline yourself to work on it, instead of wasting time scrolling or complaining, it'll just stay an idea in your head. You want more out of life? Then you've got to build new habits. And habits don't just appear. They're carved out by daily repetition. And repetition requires discipline. Real discipline. Not just on the good days, but on the boring days. The tired days, the stressful days, because that's where most people quit. But you don't have to. And here's what's interesting. Once a habit is locked in, it doesn't just change your results, it changes how you see yourself. You stop saying, I want to be disciplined. You start saying, I am disciplined. That identity shift is where the real power is. You begin to trust yourself. You feel proud of who you're becoming. You no longer need external motivation. You become your own reason, and the world starts treating you differently because you carry yourself differently. Discipline rewires your self-image. It replaces shame with confidence. It replaces fear with action. It replaces doubt with proof. Because when you do what you say you'll do consistently, you begin to feel like someone who gets things done. People ask, how do I stay motivated? That's the wrong question. Motivation is a mood. It comes and goes. Discipline is a decision. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to do it again and again and again until the action becomes your rhythm, until the habit becomes part of your story, until the results show up, and they will. The good news is this: you don't have to overhaul your whole life overnight. You just need to pick one goal and anchor it to one habit. Start small, start simple, but be relentless. Don't skip, don't cheat yourself. Because the minute you break the chain, you have to start again. But if you hold the line long enough, something amazing happens. That little habit begins to multiply. It gives you momentum. It boosts your belief. And suddenly one habit turns into 2, then 5, then 10. And before you know it, your whole life has shifted. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the most committed, because in the end, it's not the goal that creates the success. It's the habit built by daily discipline, over time, with patience, with effort, with heart. That's how goals turn into habits. That's how dreams become real. That's how average becomes exceptional. And it's available to anyone who's willing to show up, especially when it's hard, because the hard days are the ones that matter most. Number 3, discipline helps you show up when you don't feel like it. Let's be honest, there are going to be days when you don't feel like it. Days when you're tired, when your mind makes excuses, When everything in you says, skip it, do it tomorrow, just rest today. And that's exactly the moment that decides your future. That's the moment when average people walk away and disciplined people show up. See, success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do when you don't feel like doing it. Anyone can work when it's easy. Anyone can train when they're motivated. Anyone can write when the inspiration flows. But what separates the successful from the stuck is this: the successful show up anyway. Discipline is your answer to the lazy voice in your head, the one that tells you to sleep in, the one that says you've done enough, the one that whispers, just take a break today. Discipline is the stronger voice that says, I don't care how I feel. I made a decision and I honor my decisions. That's where power is born. You don't grow on the days when everything feels good. You grow on the days when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, when it tests you. And you pass the test by showing up, not with perfection, not with ease, but with discipline. You show up groggy. You show up unsure. You show up when you'd rather do anything else, but you show up. And that builds something stronger than motivation. It builds self-respect. Because here's the truth. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you send a message to yourself, a message that says, I'm not run by emotion, I'm run by purpose. And the more you do that, the more your identity changes. You stop being someone who tries to be disciplined. You become someone who just is. You become someone who does the work no matter the mood. Now think about this. How many people do you know who only act when they feel good, only move when it's easy, only work when the stars align? You'll notice something. They stay in the same place year after year because they let their feelings lead their life. And feelings are liars. Feelings are fragile. One bad night of sleep and your whole day can fall apart unless you've trained discipline. Discipline says, it doesn't matter how I feel, I have work to do. That's how businesses are built. That's how bodies are transformed. That's how books are written. Not by waiting for the perfect feeling, but by showing up regardless. You don't need to conquer the whole mountain every day. Sometimes just putting your shoes on and walking 5 steps is the victory. Sometimes just sitting down and writing 1 paragraph is the win. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing something, showing up. Even in a small way, creates momentum, and momentum is everything. Because once you're in motion, everything changes. What felt impossible 5 minutes ago starts to feel doable, but you would have never felt it if you didn't show up first. Some of your best work will come on your worst days. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will come after your lowest moments. Why? Because struggle forces focus. It strips away the nonsense. It makes you dig deeper, and that's where real progress lives. Not in comfort, but in consistency through discomfort. Look, nobody's immune to bad days. Even the most successful people have moments where they want to quit. But what they've learned is this: you don't need to feel good to get started. You just need to start. Action creates clarity. Movement changes mindset. The discipline to begin, even when you don't feel like it, is what unlocks everything. And the best part, the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. You stop being a slave to your emotions. You stop waiting for the right time. You become the right time. You start showing up so often that it becomes your new normal. And when that happens, your results explode. Because now you're consistent. You're dangerous. You're dependable. Not just to others, but to yourself. So remember this. The key to your next level is not in the perfect plan. It's in the imperfect action taken today, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is not about being in the mood. It's about being in the mission. And every time you show up, even when it's tough, you move closer to the life you've always wanted. Number 4, discipline trains you to do hard things without complaining. Let me tell you something most people never hear growing up. Life is hard. Success is hard. Becoming someone you're proud of is hard. But discipline is what makes hard things not only possible, but manageable. You see, discipline isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you do it. A lot of people go through life dragging their feet, complaining the whole way. They might get the job done, but the energy behind it is weak. It's bitter. It's heavy. And you can feel it because they don't want to do it. They're just forcing themselves. But here's what successful people understand. Doing hard things without complaining builds something inside you that no book, no podcast, no motivational speaker can give you. It builds quiet strength, grit, humility, power. It builds character. Discipline teaches you to show up not with resentment, but with responsibility. It says, I don't have to love this task, but I will respect it. I will give it my best. I will keep my mouth shut and do what needs to be done. Because I'm not doing this for comfort, I'm doing this for growth. Most people want the reward, but avoid the process. They want the body without the sweat. They want the wealth without the late nights. They want the lifestyle without the grind. And the moment it gets hard, they start complaining. This is too much. It's not fair. Why do I have to do all this? And that's the difference between average and elite. Average people complain their way through the process. Elite people discipline their way through the process. The average person says, why is this happening to me? The disciplined person says, what is this teaching me? One mindset keeps you stuck. The other moves you forward. Understand this. Every great life is built through seasons of pain, challenge, inconvenience, and sacrifice. No one escapes that. The only question is, will you complain your way through those seasons, or will you embrace them? Because the more you complain, the weaker you get. But the more you embrace the discomfort without resistance, the stronger you become. When you stop whining and start working, your whole life changes. You stop being a victim. You start becoming a warrior. Discipline turns burdens into building blocks. It transforms suffering into strength. It says, yes, this is hard. Yes, this is uncomfortable. But I'm not here for easy. I'm here for better. I'm here for progress. I'm here to train my mind to rise above the noise. Every time you do a hard thing without complaining, you break an old pattern. You silence that voice in your head that says, I can't. You become someone who takes pride in your work, even when no one's watching. That's the highest form of power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. You don't need to announce your struggle. You don't need applause for your effort. Just keep showing up quietly, strongly, consistently. Let your results speak for you. Because here's what happens over time. When life sees that you can be trusted with pressure, it gives you more opportunity. When it sees that you can be trusted with responsibility, it opens new doors. And when it sees that you can do hard things without needing sympathy, it rewards you with results others only dream about. So next time life gets heavy, don't complain. Carry it, stand tall, tighten your discipline, and do the hard thing like it's nothing. Not because it's easy, but because you're built for it. Number 5, discipline protects your future. Let me be very clear with you. Your future isn't something that magically shows up. It's something you're building moment by moment, habit by habit, choice by choice. And discipline is your security system. It's the bodyguard of your dreams. Without discipline, your future is wide open to destruction. It's open to distraction, procrastination, laziness, and all the little temptations that quietly steal your time, your energy, and your potential. But when you build discipline, you're putting locks on the doors. You're setting boundaries. You're guarding the life you say you want. Look, anyone can say they want a better future. Most people do. But very few people live in a way that protects it. They keep wasting time chasing dopamine, saying yes to what they should say no to. And that's how the future starts falling apart slowly. Not in one big collapse, but in 1,000 small leaks. Discipline is what patches those leaks. It says, I'm not going to waste another hour on this. It says, that shortcut looks nice, but I'm staying on the path. It says, I'll skip the pleasure now because I'm investing in peace later. Discipline is long-term thinking in a short-term world. We live in a world that teaches instant gratification. Get rich quick. Get fit fast. Avoid the struggle. And that's why most people end up stuck. They keep trading their future for comfort. But you're smarter than that. You're wiser than that. You understand that every disciplined action today is a brick in the foundation of your future success. When you wake up early instead of sleeping in, that's protection. When you read a book instead of scrolling on your phone, that's protection. When you stay focused while everyone else is distracted, that's protection. You're not just being productive, you're building a wall between your future and the things that could ruin it. And let me tell you this, it doesn't take much for a future to fall apart. One undisciplined year can undo 5 years of progress. One bad decision can destroy a reputation. One lazy season can close doors that took years to open. So, if you care about your future, protect it with your habits. Discipline is the insurance policy for everything you're working for. It's what keeps your goals alive. It's what keeps you moving even when the motivation is gone. Because motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. It shows up when you don't feel like it. It steps in when your emotions get weak. It holds the line when your willpower starts to fade. And over time, that kind of protection adds up. You start getting ahead. You start living with confidence because you know you're doing the right things even when nobody's watching. You stop hoping for a better future and start creating one. So if you want to live well 5 years from now, be disciplined today. If you want peace, security, health, and abundance in the future, be disciplined with how you spend your hours now. What feels hard today will feel like freedom tomorrow. Discipline is how you respect your future before it even arrives. Number 6, discipline creates self-worth and confidence. Discipline is what gives a person structure. Without it, life starts to fall apart. But with it, something powerful happens. You begin to build a quiet confidence within yourself. You start to trust your own words. You say you're going to wake up early, and you do. You say you're going to study, exercise, show up on time, finish the work, and you do. That does something to your mind. It teaches you that you're someone who follows through. It's not about being perfect, it's about becoming someone you can rely on. That kind of self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence doesn't come from compliments or attention. It comes from knowing that when you say something, you mean it, and when you set a goal, you'll work until it's done. When you live with discipline, you stop needing motivation all the time. You stop waiting for the mood to be right. You stop looking for energy or inspiration from the outside world. Because the truth is, most days, motivation doesn't come. But discipline teaches you to show up anyway, and showing up builds momentum. It's in the quiet moments when no one's watching that your character is being shaped. It's when you keep going even when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching your progress, that you begin to feel a real sense of pride. That's when you start to believe in yourself, not because someone else told you to, but because you earned it. And that self-belief doesn't fade quickly. It sticks with you. It affects how you speak, how you walk, how you approach every part of your life. You stop doubting yourself so much. You stop needing validation. You stop second-guessing every move because discipline becomes your proof. It's not just about hard work. It's about the person you're becoming through that hard work. A confident person is someone who has discipline working silently in the background, shaping their mindset, sharpening their focus, and giving them the quiet edge that most people overlook. Discipline is also what protects your progress. You could build success today, but without discipline, you'll lose it tomorrow. You could reach a goal once, but if you're not consistent, you'll always be starting over. Confidence doesn't come from one great day. It comes from a string of ordinary days where you chose to do the work instead of making excuses. When you live like that for long enough, it rewires how you see yourself. You begin to say, I may not be the most talented, the most gifted, or the luckiest, but I will outlast most people because I stay consistent. That's where your edge comes from. That's what discipline gives you. You also stop being controlled by your feelings. Discipline teaches you that feelings are not always facts. You can feel tired and still train. You can feel lazy and still write. You can feel fear and still move forward. You learn that emotions don't get the final say. And that separation between how you feel and what you do, that's where real power lives. Because now you're in charge. You're not waiting for life to hand you better circumstances. You're not blaming anyone else. You're doing the work regardless. That's what makes you unstoppable. And that energy, that quiet, unshakable confidence, people notice it. Even if you don't talk about it, even if you're not the loudest in the room, there's something about a disciplined person that's magnetic. It's not flashy, it's not arrogant, but it's powerful. You can see it in how they carry themselves. You can see it in their eyes because they know who they are and they didn't get it overnight. They built it, they earned it. So if you want real confidence, the kind that doesn't break under pressure, the kind that doesn't fade when life gets hard, the kind that doesn't rely on attention or approval, start with discipline. Start with the little things. Keep your word to yourself. Build the habits. Get serious about your goals. Learn to show up no matter how you feel. And over time, without needing to force it, without needing to talk about it, you'll become the kind of person others respect, not because you asked them to, but because you earned it by showing up, staying consistent, and becoming the kind of person you always knew you could be. And maybe the best part of it all, once you build that level of self-respect, you stop settling. You stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop chasing people who don't value you because you know your worth, not because someone told you, but because discipline showed you. That's what changes everything. That's what builds a life worth living. Number 7, discipline separates the average from the great. Discipline is the invisible force that creates the gap between average and great. It's not something flashy or loud. It doesn't make headlines, but it quietly shapes every decision, every action, and every habit that leads someone to greatness. When looking at people who have achieved extraordinary success, it becomes clear that talent or intelligence alone isn't what sets them apart. Many talented people never reach their potential because they lack discipline. It is discipline that keeps a person consistent, focused, and relentless in the pursuit of their goals. Most people start strong with big dreams, but enthusiasm fades, distractions creep in, and challenges emerge. The average person often surrenders to these obstacles. They give in to excuses, procrastination, or the temptation of comfort. They wait for motivation to appear or hope for the right moment. But the great don't wait for feelings or perfect circumstances. They act because they have discipline, a commitment to do what must be done, regardless of how they feel. This ability to push through discomfort is the defining factor that separates them from the rest. Discipline is the daily choice to prioritize what matters most, even when it's difficult. It's waking up early to work on your goals while others are still asleep. It's staying focused on your tasks, even when social media, noise, or doubt try to pull you away. It's following through on commitments to yourself and others, building trust and momentum over time. This consistency creates a foundation that the average person simply doesn't build. When distractions come, the average person loses focus. The great guard their attention fiercely, knowing that every moment wasted chips away at progress. Discipline trains you to say no to short-term pleasures that do not align with your long-term vision. It gives you the strength to delay gratification, to put in the work today for rewards tomorrow. This ability to stay disciplined day after day turns effort into habit and habits into lifestyle. Another key difference is how the great respond to failure and setbacks. The average person often sees failure as a signal to quit or slow down. The disciplined person treats failure as a lesson, a chance to adjust and keep moving forward. Discipline builds resilience. It hardens your mind against giving up and strengthens your resolve to continue despite challenges. Discipline also shapes character. It teaches patience, perseverance, and responsibility. It shows you what you are truly capable of when you refuse to let emotions or circumstances control you. This growth in character creates leaders, innovators, and creators who impact the world beyond themselves. To move from average to great, discipline must become your lifestyle, not just an occasional effort. It means creating routines and systems that support your goals. It means daily commitment, even when motivation fades or the path is unclear. The great understand that success is not a single event, but a series of disciplined actions repeated over time. There is no substitute for discipline. Talent, luck, and opportunity play roles, but discipline is the constant that drives consistent results. It is the force that powers progress and turns dreams into reality. If you want to break free from mediocrity and step into greatness, focus on developing your discipline. Make discipline your daily practice, your mindset, your habit. Over time, you'll notice how your actions align, your results improve, and your life changes in ways you never imagined. Greatness is not reserved for a chosen few. It's available to anyone willing to commit to discipline. The path may be challenging, but the reward is worth every sacrifice. Choose discipline today and watch how it transforms your journey from average to extraordinary. Number 8, discipline builds self-respect. ChatGPT said, self-respect isn't something that happens overnight. It's not handed to you on a silver platter or given as a gift. It's earned, and the most reliable way to earn it is through discipline. When you make a commitment to yourself and follow through day after day, that commitment strengthens the bond you have with your own integrity. This bond is the heart of self-respect. It tells you deep down that you can count on yourself no matter what comes your way. Discipline means doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like it. It means waking up early to work on your goals, pushing through discomfort, and resisting the easy distractions that pull you away from what matters most. Every time you choose discipline over convenience, you build a small brick in the foundation of your self-respect. It's not about perfection, but about persistence. The simple act of showing up consistently for yourself teaches your mind and heart that you are worthy of your own best efforts. This inner respect shifts how you see yourself and how you handle life's challenges. When you have discipline, you develop a kind of quiet confidence, a knowing that you can handle setbacks because you have the strength to keep moving forward. That confidence is rooted in self-respect. It's the voice inside that says, I've done hard things before and I can do them again. You no longer let fear or doubt control your decisions because you trust your own ability to stay the course. When self-respect grows through discipline, it also shapes the way you treat yourself every single day. You start setting clearer boundaries, recognizing what is good for you and what is not. You refuse to settle for excuses or harmful habits. Instead, you choose actions that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. This respect for yourself means you stop tolerating behaviors or relationships that hold you back. You protect your time and energy like valuable assets, knowing that you are deserving of care and attention. People notice when someone respects themselves. It's not just about the words they say or the image they project. It's in their actions, their consistency, and the way they carry themselves. Discipline becomes the difference between blending in with the crowd and standing out as someone dependable and trustworthy. When you live with discipline, others can see that you take yourself seriously. That kind of respect invites opportunities, builds stronger relationships, and opens doors that would otherwise stay closed. Another important part of how discipline builds self-respect is that it helps you break free from the cycle of negative self-talk and self-doubt. When you practice discipline, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Each completed task, every goal met, is evidence that you can overcome challenges. That evidence slowly replaces fear and uncertainty with pride and belief. The more you accomplish, the stronger your respect for yourself becomes. This growing self-respect makes it easier to face life's inevitable struggles without giving up. When things get tough, it's your discipline-fueled self-respect that keeps you going. It reminds you that giving in to excuses or quitting isn't an option because you owe it to yourself to finish what you started. This mindset shifts your focus from short-term comfort to long-term success, helping you push through discomfort and frustration. This is the bridge that connects your dreams with your reality. Without discipline, even the biggest goals remain just ideas, but with it, you turn those ideas into habits, habits into routines, and routines into results. Each step you take with discipline reinforces your belief in yourself, strengthening your self-respect along the way. If the life you want is one where you wake up feeling proud of who you are and what you've accomplished, discipline has to be at the core of your daily habits. It may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. Discipline changes everything because it builds the kind of self-respect that no one can take away. It gives you the power to become the person you want to be, living the life you deserve. This respect for yourself creates a foundation so solid that no challenge or setback can shake you. It's the difference between dreaming and doing, between wishing and winning. And it all starts with the decision to be disciplined day after day, no matter what. Number 9, discipline makes you reliable to yourself. When you talk about discipline, one of the most important things to understand is how it makes you reliable to yourself, above all else. Think about it. In life, the person you spend the most time with, the one who's always there no matter what, is you. Your relationship with yourself is the foundation for every other relationship and every goal you want to achieve. When discipline steps in, it changes that relationship in a powerful way. It turns you into someone you can count on, someone who doesn't break promises to themselves. Reliability starts with trust. When you say you'll do something, and then you do it consistently, your mind and heart start to believe in your word. It might seem simple, but it's the key to building a life where your confidence grows naturally. Discipline teaches you to show up every day for the things that matter, even when you don't feel like it or when distractions tempt you to give up. This consistent follow-through is what makes you reliable. You know that feeling when you've promised yourself to get up early and work on a goal and you do it? It's a feeling of quiet victory. No one else has to see it. It's between you and yourself. That moment builds a powerful sense of respect inside you. Because you honored your commitment, that respect becomes fuel to keep going, especially when the journey gets tough. Without discipline, it's easy to let yourself down. It's easy to make excuses or postpone what needs to be done. But when you develop discipline, you stop being your own worst enemy. Instead, you become your strongest ally. You create a pattern of dependability that turns into habits, and those habits carry you through days when motivation fades. You don't have to rely on fleeting feelings or external circumstances because your discipline has built a structure that supports you no matter what. Being reliable to yourself also means that your decisions become clearer and stronger. When you know you can trust yourself to act with discipline, there's less hesitation. You move forward with confidence because your past actions have proven you can be counted on. This eliminates doubt and second guessing, which often waste time and energy. You become decisive, committed because you know that reliability to yourself is a non-negotiable. This kind of self-reliability doesn't just help you with big goals, it improves your everyday life too. When you trust yourself to follow through on small promises like sticking to a routine, eating healthy, or managing your time well, you build a momentum that carries into every area. The small wins add up and your confidence grows with each one. You start to see yourself as someone who delivers, who doesn't quit, who stays true to their word. That's a powerful identity to hold. Life throws challenges and distractions at everyone. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is often the simple ability to be reliable to themselves, no matter what. Discipline makes that possible. It's the invisible force that keeps you steady when the winds of doubt and distraction blow hard. With discipline, you develop a resilience that can't be shaken by temporary setbacks or feelings of uncertainty. The more reliable you become to yourself, the more others can rely on you too. People respect someone who honors their commitments, who shows up consistently and with integrity. But before that can happen, it must start inside. The relationship with yourself must be rock solid. When discipline is at the core of that relationship, everything else falls into place more easily. Reliability to yourself also brings peace of mind. When you know you have the strength to keep your promises, there's less anxiety and stress. You aren't constantly worried about falling short or disappointing yourself. Instead, you feel calm and in control because you're managing your life with intention and follow-through. That peace gives you the freedom to focus on growth and progress rather than fear and hesitation. There's no shortcut to building this kind of self-reliability. It comes from consistent daily choices to act with discipline. It comes from deciding each day to show up no matter how hard or uncomfortable it feels. Over time, those choices shape your character and create a deep trust inside you that can weather any storm. The power of discipline is that it turns you into a person who doesn't just talk about change, but actually makes it happen. It turns intentions into actions and actions into habits. When you become reliable to yourself, you unlock a new level of personal power. You stop waiting for the right moment or the perfect mood. Instead, you act because you respect your own word and your own potential. If you want to live a life where you can depend on yourself to get through hard times, to keep pursuing your goals, and to stay true to your values, discipline is the foundation. It's the muscle that builds reliability inside you. And once that muscle is strong, nothing can stop you from becoming the person you were meant to be. You become unstoppable. Not because life suddenly gets easier, but because you become someone who can handle anything life throws your way. That's the true power of discipline, making you reliable to yourself every single day. Number 10, discipline creates the life you say you want. When thinking about the kind of life you want to live, it's easy to say the words, I want success, I want peace, I want freedom, but saying it and living it are two very different things. The bridge between those words and the reality you experience every day is built with discipline. Discipline is the force that turns your dreams and desires into the life you say you want. Without it, those goals stay just ideas in your mind, far from your reality. Discipline is what shapes your daily actions. Every small decision you make adds up, and those choices determine the direction of your life. If you want a life of achievement and purpose, you have to act with intention consistently. This means following through on commitments, even when it's tough or inconvenient. It means doing what needs to be done, not just what you feel like doing. This is the real work behind every successful person you see. When discipline guides your steps, you start to create habits that support your vision. Those habits become automatic. You don't have to rely on willpower alone because your routine carries you forward. You wake up with a plan and follow it without hesitation. This steady momentum is what makes big changes possible over time. It's not about one giant leap, but about the daily effort that discipline requires. The life you say you want isn't built overnight. It's crafted piece by piece. Discipline gives you the structure and focus needed to keep building even when progress seems slow. There will be days when motivation fades or distractions try to pull you away. Discipline is what keeps you moving in the right direction. It keeps your eyes on the prize, reminding you that the life you want is waiting on the other side of persistence. Discipline also teaches patience. It shows you that the best things don't come instantly, but through consistent effort. That understanding helps you stay committed when immediate results aren't visible. You learn to trust the process, knowing that your disciplined actions today are planting seeds for a better tomorrow. This trust is crucial because it prevents you from giving up too soon. When your life is ruled by discipline, you begin to notice something powerful. Your choices become aligned with your values and goals. You don't just react to circumstances, you create circumstances. You design your days and your habits to serve the future you want to build. This alignment brings a sense of control and purpose that few experience. It's a daily affirmation that you are shaping your destiny, not waiting for it. Discipline also affects how others see you. When you live by your commitments, you earn respect and credibility. People notice when you follow through consistently. This builds trust, opens doors, and creates opportunities that might not appear otherwise. Your disciplined approach to life becomes a beacon, attracting the right relationships and resources to help you grow. It's important to realize that discipline is not about restriction or punishment. It's about freedom, the freedom that comes from being in charge of your actions and your future. When you live disciplined, you free yourself from chaos and inconsistency. You stop being controlled by impulses or distractions. Instead, you become the master of your time, energy, and focus. The life you say you want is possible because of the choices you make today. Discipline is the habit of making those choices wisely and sticking with them. It's the daily commitment to your vision, even when no one else is watching. This commitment is what turns hopes into reality and dreams into a way of life. No matter where you are right now, discipline can transform your path. It doesn't matter if you've made mistakes or faced setbacks. What matters is your decision to start acting differently today. Every moment you choose discipline, you step closer to the life you say you want. This journey isn't easy, but it's worth every effort because it leads to a life filled with accomplishment, respect, and fulfillment. Discipline creates a powerful cycle. The more you practice it, the more your life reflects your deepest desires, your confidence grows, your self-respect strengthens, and your goals become clearer. With discipline as your foundation, the life you once only dreamed of becomes the life you live every day. It's not about luck or talent. It's about the consistent, disciplined choices that build a future worth living. There isn't an official number 11 on the list you provided, but I can create a powerful continuation that fits perfectly with the theme of discipline transforming your life. Here's a seamless, extended script for a new part titled, Discipline Empowers You to Overcome Challenges. When you commit to discipline, you don't just set yourself up for success on good days. You build the strength to face difficult times and come out stronger. Life will always have obstacles. Unexpected problems show up, setbacks happen, and motivation fades. What separates those who reach their goals from those who give up is discipline. Discipline is the steady hand that keeps you moving forward, even when things get tough. This strength isn't about ignoring the pain or frustration. It's about accepting that challenges are part of the journey and deciding to keep going anyway. Discipline creates a mental toughness that doesn't crumble under pressure. Instead, it welcomes challenges as chances to learn and grow. When you are disciplined, obstacles become stepping stones instead of roadblocks. This mindset changes everything. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as the captain of your ship. You understand that while you can't control everything that happens, you control how you respond. Discipline is the muscle that allows you to respond with patience, calm, and determination rather than panic or giving up. Every time you push through difficulty, discipline gets stronger. It's like training your mind and body to be ready for whatever comes your way. The harder the challenge, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle it. This builds confidence that lasts. Not just for one situation, but for life as a whole. When life feels overwhelming, discipline reminds you to break problems down into smaller steps. It helps you focus on what you can do right now, not what seems impossible. This practical approach keeps you grounded and prevents burnout. It turns big problems into manageable actions, which leads to steady progress even in the hardest times. Discipline also protects you from distractions that try to pull you off course. When you're facing a challenge, it's easy to get sidetracked by doubt, fear, or tempting shortcuts. Discipline acts like a filter, keeping you focused on what really matters. It keeps your energy directed towards solutions and forward movement. Because of discipline, you build resilience. You learn that setbacks are temporary and that failure is only final if you stop trying. This resilience is a gift that no one can take away. It carries you through tough days and helps you bounce back stronger after every fall. At the end of the day, discipline empowers you to create a life that matches your vision, no matter what challenges arise. It doesn't promise a life without struggles, but it guarantees that you'll have the strength to face those struggles head on and keep moving forward. This power to overcome is the difference between dreaming about success and living it. The life you want isn't just about good times and easy wins. It's about having the discipline to stand strong when the road gets rough. That's the true meaning of discipline. It's the foundation that lets you build a life full of achievement, confidence, and peace, even in the face of adversity. And that kind of life, it's worth every ounce of effort. Discipline is far more than just a habit or a fleeting choice. It's the very foundation upon which every meaningful success is built. It demands patience, resilience, and a deep commitment to yourself and your vision. It's the force that propels you forward on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found and obstacles appear larger than your courage. When you embrace discipline fully, it becomes a powerful shield, protecting you from distractions, self-doubt, and the temptation to give up. It teaches you that progress isn't about giant leaps, but about steady steps taken with purpose, no matter how small they may seem. Every great accomplishment, every life transformed, is the result of discipline practiced over time. It's waking up early, even when your bed feels like the warmest place on earth. It's saying no to things that pull you away from your goals, even when those things promise immediate pleasure or relief. It's pushing yourself to keep going when your body aches, your mind screams for rest, and your emotions threaten to derail your focus. This consistency is the engine that turns dreams into reality. But discipline offers more than just external results. It changes how you see yourself. You start to build a deep sense of trust within, a feeling that you are reliable, that you keep your word, and that you have the strength to follow through on your commitments. This self-trust is priceless. It frees you from the inner chaos that comes with broken promises to yourself. It empowers you to face challenges with confidence because you know you have the inner resources to overcome them. The journey of discipline is not a straight path. There will be days when you stumble, when progress feels invisible, and when doubt creeps in. Those moments are part of the process. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is the choice to stand back up and keep moving forward. Discipline is the quiet voice inside that says, "Not today, I will not quit." It's the bridge that connects your current reality to the future you desire, a future shaped by your persistence and dedication. When you commit to discipline, you're not just chasing goals, you're transforming your identity. You become someone who embodies strength, determination, and integrity. The ripple effects touch every part of your life. Relationships improve because you're more dependable, opportunities increase because you're prepared, and peace grows because you live in alignment with your values. This path requires sacrifice. It asks you to delay short-term comfort for long-term gain. It asks you to face discomfort and uncertainty without surrender. But in return, discipline gives you freedom, the freedom to create the life you want, free from regret and second-guessing. It creates a sense of mastery over your own actions, allowing you to write your story rather than being written by circumstances. Understand this. No one else will build your discipline for you. It's your responsibility and your greatest gift to yourself. It's the single most effective way to turn your potential into achievement, your intentions into accomplishments, and your dreams into your daily reality. So keep showing up, even when the excitement fades. Keep pushing forward, even when the results aren't immediate. Keep choosing discipline because every choice you make in favor of it builds the foundation for the life you've always wanted. The strength, the success, the fulfillment, they're waiting on the other side of your commitment. Discipline doesn't just change parts of your life. It changes everything. Your future is crafted by what you do today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Hold fast to your discipline and watch how your life transforms beyond what you thought possible. The power is in your hands. Use it wisely, and the life you envision will become the life you live.